everybody, this is Bud. Welcome back to Fantasy League Fantastico Roundtable for Week 10 of the NFL season. We're right after game time, Oakland versus the Chargers, so let's jump right to it. Let me introduce you again, Bud.
Hey, Bud, nice to see you again. Good evening to you.
You're a happy camper.
Well,
you were on the
it was
King
an
of the Hill.
exciting night of Thursday football. You know, NFL is now running those Thursday night games, boy, and there was a lot going on in Fantasy League Fantastico.
And this roundtable will always adjust to the season.
Absolutely will.
Up to date, to the minute, scores and highlights coming your way.
Just a big night. We saw the Boone Humper jump out of the gates with a flyer. I would say 2 flyers. Carson Palmer, Denarius Moore picking up 30 points on the wide receiver end. But more importantly, Carson Palmer looked like he could throw the ball around a little bit.
Well, he's developed that zip. He had to take a good year off, pretty much, to get over that surgery in his elbow. But we're seeing a field general, a calm and collected quarterback. This quarterback could be a game changer, and a lot of fantasy fruit could fall from his tree.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we saw tonight, more importantly, I think, is maybe the emergence of the King, making a key waiver wire move a couple weeks ago, bringing in Michael Bush, and now he may have himself a #1 running back. We'll see how long McFadden stays.
Great night for Michael Bush. And
wow.
Other topics, though, the mofos, I believe, are going to become the no-goes, i.e. their opportunity, their invitation to the dance, I believe, is going downhill but fast.
Well, the Mofos taking on the King this week, and we will get into these matchups, but the Mofos, are they a team on the decline right now?
They are definitely
this team is a team we've been hard on all year. We've been waiting for the fall, something we've seen out of the Mofos in past years, and are we beginning to see that as they almost get to that 500 mark without the points, and we'll talk about that.
Let's
they
put it
might
this
not
way.
make any playoffs.
It's in the toilet, and it's kind of running around the rim, and it's ready to get sucked down into a fantasy abyss.
It's amazing how it works.
But it's great to be back. We had to miss a couple of days. You know, you have a few things you want to say about that?
No, just a couple of things came up. The office had to shut down, so again the studio wasn't available. So we had to cancel a week 9 show. Apologies.
Bunch apologies, especially
you can't help the weather, can you?
Yeah, no, you can't. To our friends in Tunisia,
we're back here week 10. Yeah,
you know,
something to do with Tunisia as always.
Sally in Iowa, you know, Khalid in Tunisia, everybody who's out there around the world, Jeff in Nashville. I mean, this is from us to you. We're back. We're going strong.
All right. Well, let's move forward here.
Yeah, let's
look at those games from last week. And
waiver wire pickups.
Excuse me. You run the show. I comment. Waiver wire pickup. What was your best waiver wire out of the week there, Bud?
Well, I really like the Rollers. They pick up Josh Cribbs. He puts up a cool 17, and the Rollers once again doing the managerial, watering the garden, you know, taking the horses out for a quick run. This guy is on top of his game. Great pickup.
It was a great pickup. You're right. The Rollers of this team we were concerned about a couple weeks ago. They had been a high-ranked team, a power-ranked team at 1, concerned with injuries. Javad Best, we didn't know they were making the right moves off the wire, but evidently here they were. I had a different waiver ad that I thought really gave equal points, but Ben Tate for the Goods, picking up a backup running back off the pile there because really the Goods struggling at running back. Steven Jackson's really their go-to guy on that team, and he's been looking for one. You saw it on the trading blocks. He's looking for a running back as well. He gets Ben Tate. He plays him, maybe to the surprise of some other managers. And Ben Tate gets a lot of those garbage carries, runs for a lot of yardage, gets a touchdown, big points, and I think he'll probably run again this week. Yeah,
Ben Tate, I believe the Boone Humpers had him on his roster earlier, and you know, Ben Tate, a great running back, great vision, runs people over, and the Goods, in my opinion, they're flaunting the line between the bads, but you know, keep on making these kinds of pickups. You might have a chance, Bud. All right, well, let's get to last week's game.
Let's look at those games. We saw the top scoring team of the week was the Peaceful Warriors in what we knew to be a high scoring matchup, but I think in this game the Warriors pull it out over Redonkulus and really send Redonkulus back down to the bottom.
Yeah, huge loss for Redonkulus.
Are the Peaceful Warriors a team that has finally risen to their talent level? We'll see, I guess.
Well, I actually spoke with the manager of the Boone Humpers, and I asked him for his assessment of the Peaceful Warriors, and he believes that the Peaceful Warriors are a little fragile. If you look at their team in its entirety, there are some flaws. We'll get into that later. Up next, we have the Morning Wood taking on Mason Key.
Exactly. The
I
Rollers
can't read my own
were the
writing.
team that played the Wood. We thought it would be a tight game, but the Rollers really did that waiver wire magic and got 145 points and blew out the Wood. The Wood, again, not doing a lot to improve its team. 5 total waiver wire moves on the season. Yeah. Finally, the tight end position seems to be a little shored up. A nice addition of Ballard, but not nearly enough to overcome the Rollers this past week.
I heard that. Rollers just keep on rolling along. Up next, Mason Keat, 124 against the Boone Humper, 99. Huge loss for the Boone Humper. I did have an opportunity to speak with the management there, and basically he had been a plug-and-play genius, and it came to a swift and dramatic and devastating end. And Mason Keat Colby slides by with yet another victory. He hasn't been putting up points at all the last 4 or 5 weeks.
We have seen a downgrade in his point performance, and I think we can point to the bye week with Wes Welker and Tom Brady. And then you can look at the points for Welker. They were obviously going to come down off some of those high levels.
He's put up some points last week, though.
It has been a decline ever since. And Brady looking rattled, throwing picks. This isn't the team we saw Monday Night Football against Miami week 1.
No, it certainly
They're running into that tougher weather, the tougher schedule. You got maybe a weak receiver in Welker as far as the physicality goes. This might be a vulnerable team if those two can't.
Have we heard any? Is Mason Keat on the waiver wire? I checked my sources. He believes that Mason Keat is still trying to get rid of Wes Welker.
Well, we have heard rumors that Wes Welker has been offered up to numerous squads, but yet we have not seen a trade in this league. Really an amazing thing that you think that with some of the teams on the bottom with a few pieces they could trade and maybe build the roster. We haven't seen anything, and I guess maybe that just speaks to the confidence people have in their horses here.
I hear you. And next up we got the fire-spitting Jimmies beating Dr. Dick. Dr. Dick is now 7-2.
Yeah, well, the Jimmies needed that win, or they were going to pretty much be finished.
For the Jimmies.
I think this is a wake-up call for Dr. Dick. This is a team that's been power ranked at 1 or 2 all season. We knew they were a flawed team. There were holes there, but he was patching them from week to week brilliantly. With guys that we wouldn't really almost agree with at the time they were played, but always came through. We're going to see what the real team, now that the bye weeks have faded, what this team is really all about.
Yeah, I believe so.
Core I'm scared of.
You see a lot of managers. What do you think, Bud? They get out to a big lead, and then it's not that they get complacent, but they don't want to mess with the chemistry, so they're not forward thinking and looking at, like, I know that the Boone Humper had a great pickup for tonight's game alone, a plug and play. And do you see the Dr. Dick being able to plug and play his receivers or his running backs? I mean, he's just.
Well, I agree that the complacency is not really quite the word here, because these managers are active, but yet they don't tinker with what's going on and what's working. You agree to that to a point, but you got to always remain aggressive.
You got to be forward thinking,
because you're an injury or 2 away, as we know, from being a mediocre team. Across the board, none of these teams have filled all their slots with stars. So you're always needing to look for that next star. Obviously, waiver priority plays into that. But maybe through trades and things, some of these better teams could fill in those slots and have a complete roster.
I'm seeing some of these